Hello, guesties. Welcome back to the I'm All Ears podcast with me, Elva. Thank you so much to those who have started listening over the last couple of weeks. I've noticed a little bit of an influx in listeners, and it means a lot. So yeah, thanks for putting up with us. I know we can be a bit crazy and unhinged. Speaking of which, this is the second part of the interview with Tobias we were doing last week. Just because it was going on for so long, I thought, okay, we need to split this into two. So yeah, let's get into part two.
I Am All Ears, the Ghost Fancast.
All right, Nid, what's your next one?
Also, first, a little comment, because obviously I went through a fucking tunnel. Just as we were talking about tattoos, and you were like saying, oh yeah, for his first tattoos, it was like a pretty big one. And I was gonna say laugh in getting my whole fucking hip tattoo for my first one.
Oh, yeah. Brutal.
My ass is huge, so it had to fit, you know. But yeah, about my question. Yeah, I was wondering if now that's obviously because in the last 2 years, there's been a lot more people attending rituals and a lot more people, listening to the music. So I'm wondering if when he's on tour or when he's, at random points throughout the days of a show, does he like think, oh, all those peoples are like on their way to the arena, all those peoples are like coming to see me, and thinking about all the people who are like coming, like indulging, like coming to the thing and being active, and like I don't know how to speak and I don't know what I want to say, but anyway, does he think about the public? Is he like, oh, all those people in the sun for like 14 hours?
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah.
I think I'd be too stressed if I thought about it.
Oh yeah, I'd still have to pull me out on stage with like a hook, like the opposite of what they normally have to do, like to take you off stage. But
Reel me on.
That's how they get me on. But like, there's like 10,000 people out there. All 10,000 eyeballs are here to see you. Go on. No.
Although, having said that, just from personal experience, because I used to be a dancer. This is my liberal mother. I used to be a dancer. And I have done a few shows where it's like a couple of thousand people, but I've also done football stadiums because I used to do like pre-show stuff. So there was like 27,000 people, and then it was also broadcasted on Sky News. You'll know what Sky News is, though. No one else.
Yeah, I know.
So I found personally, like if you are doing a stadium show or something like that, it's less. There's just so many people you don't even think. Whereas when it's a bit more intimate, that's when it gets scary. So maybe the arena shows, it's just so like you can't comprehend it. That it's just you don't even get nervous anymore.
Yeah. And maybe like having the mask and stuff helps with that too, because like it's not him going out on stage. Like in his head, he can say, "I'm not going out on stage. Kopi is going out on stage." So he can be nervous about it, but like once the mask and stuff goes on, it kind of becomes Copia, and then that kind of helps him. Because like I remember that video from like when the people saying happy birthday to him, he said, "I'll tell him later."
Mm-hmm.
You know, like talking about himself in like a third person. Like any other singer doing that, you'd be like, shut up. But him doing that, you go, yeah, you tell him later.
Yeah. Yeah, it takes away the vulnerability.
You say that as if little autistic Copia wasn't nervous. I mean, that might be
no, like.
Oh, little Kopi. All right, Shanti, what's your next question?
My question would be like, do you know how much some fans love Repugnant or Mary Gore? And would he ever make a comeback as such? Like, would we ever have a comeback with Repugnant? Or would we have like a Mary Gore thing like with Under the Spell?
Yeah.
Love that song so much.
As a self-proclaimed Mary Gore lover, I need it. I need Gore content.
Yeah, I mean, he says that he's somewhere, or they. So
Somewhere.
Maybe.
That little moment in that interview changed my brain chemistry for like the rest of my life. Honestly,
It cured
that'd
my
be a
depression.
question I'd like to ask him. Is like, do you understand these little things that you say can like completely change somebody's outlook on life?
I was gonna like, kill myself, but then I heard that, and then I decided, you know what, life's worth living.
Life's worth living. I know Mary Gore is a he/they. I saw sunshine and rainbows outside my window. It was great.
Okay, Katie, your next question.
Okay, so my burning question that I have to know is, did you get the Star Wars figurines that I brought in Austin? Did you get them?
Real, we need to know.
Because
And where did you put them?
Yes, and where did you put them? Because I specifically went and got vintage 1978 Darth Vader, and I want to know what happened.
Hopefully he got them.
Yeah, like I want to know what they do with all the gifts, because like they allow gifts, so they must pre-plan to kind of put them somewhere to bring home with them. Otherwise, they would just be like, no gifts because we can't carry them everywhere. But like, yeah, I really want to know what they do with them all. Because also, yeah, like Bro hasn't answered my fucking. Bro got my zine and never emailed me. So Bro, if you listen, what you doing? What you playing at?
Yeah, can we just email Alva and let us know what happened?
Or don't actually, because I think I'd shit myself more.
You just get an email from like marygore@gmail.com.
Like,
just never open it.
like, hello, I saw your zine. What the fuck? You go seek help.
I don't know for you all who like shared gifts, but I would prefer to never know if he received my Father Jim Come Hair Gel sticker. I would never know.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. That's on his fridge.
It's on his laptop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Alana?
I want to know if there was ever a period of time where he was worried that people would lose interest in Ghost when the anonymity kind of went away. Like, was he worried that kind of like, because the anonymity of Ghost was part of the kind of gimmick of Ghost for a while. So
Yeah.
was there ever like a period of time where he was worried that people, like, once they kind of knew who he was and stuff, would they lose interest? You know, because like, oh no, I know who he is. Like, it doesn't matter. Because I remember reading on Reddit, it was that podcast he did. I can't remember the name of it right now. Another one where he kind of sits and talks about his life. I remember reading one of the comments, and somebody said, I went from knowing absolutely nothing about this man to knowing absolutely everything about this man, and I feel very overwhelmed with all the information I have just got. So, like, was there a time where he was worried that, you know, that the lack of anonymity would affect the growth of the band, or would it affect people's interest in the band? You know, and like the interest in the characters as well, you know, because like that's part of the kind of draw is Papa is part of the draw. Like, was he worried that people knowing that it was him, would that stop people being as interested in the Papas? You know, especially because he was still in Terzo mode whenever this was all going on. So was he worried that people would lose interest in Terzo? Like, obviously people didn't. Like, you know, people go to these shows and go, no, that's not Tobias Forge. That's Cardinal. That's, you know, Papa 4, Cardinal Copia. You know, like, people still kind of like go in with the kind of narrative of it. But like, was he worried at any point that people wouldn't? You know, I always wondered about that.
Yeah, because like I think he's like it must have been terrifying at first, but like I think he's now got that attitude of like 95% of people that come to shows don't care, and then there's just the 5% that are like interested in everything. But obviously, yeah, like you say at the beginning, it must have been scary being like, I've put all this work in for nothing, and I've been years of academy training wasted.
All that time wasted, all the effort done. Thanks, guys.
I mean, like, if you saw that rider that got leaked from 2012, where it was like no girlfriends, no groupies backstage, no friends of support bands backstage, all that, and then it's like, all that down the drain.
all the boring after backstage moments For nothing.
Everyone could have been getting some poontang, and yet no. Oh no! Yeah, it must have been scary at first.
Yeah, because like it was such a because it was just so like sudden as well. If that makes like. So like it was just like a very like because I wasn't a fan at the time, so I can't speak what it must have been like. But it must have been very strange for fans as well to be to kind of watch this transition period between the anonymity and not knowing who he was and then find everything out. Because I remember one of the comments I seen on a video from a live show where someone was like, "Oh, they very matter of factly said that it was Ghost was just different famous musicians, being kind of cycled in and out." And I was like, that must have been very kind of ego boosting. People thinking that you're James Hetfield,
Imagine,
or like you're some other famous singer or something. Like yes, I am. Don't ask who I actually am. Yeah, that's it.
It's kind of funny because like my whole thing with like when I first started this, the whole thing was that I was going to be like anonymous and like separate and stuff. And within like a year, the boundaries are just slipping with me where I'm just like, oh, I just can't keep this up and I just can't care anymore. Like, so I wonder if he had the sort of same thing where it's like, oh, it's just fucking easier if I just allow this to happen and allow people to know.
Because I assume it would be easier to do interviews just like as himself, where he can like just speak on behalf of the characters. Whereas like before, he had to like be in character and come up with like these character responses. It's just it must have been so hard for every single interview. But he didn't really do interviews, but
No, but you know what's terrible? I mean, I'm gonna do a whole episode on the lawsuit anyway because, like, I want to because it's fucking funny. It's not funny; it's traumatic. But like, there's bits.
It's funny after the fact.
Yeah, but there's one bit in the lawsuit where it kind of the fact that he was pretending, like disassociating himself and because he had to use the term sort of like, oh, we do this, we as a band do this to kind of keep it very loose and anonymity. But then in the lawsuit, they brought it up being like, so you said in this interview, we, so that means that you thought that it was a band and not just your solo project. And he had to argue being like, no, I had to say that because otherwise people were going to know that it's just me behind it. And that really shot him in the foot. So oh god, I felt so bad for him about that because he was, like you say, on one hand trying to keep the anonymity up and being very vague, but then like later when the lawsuit came out, it was like, well, you said that it was a band in all the interviews, so jail for you.
Also, now that the anonymity is gone, I kind of miss special Phil. Bring him back.
Yes.
Please.
Sir Philip, please.
Philip, we miss you.
But I imagine doing the interviews as a ghoul was also kind of like liberating because he could say things without being judged for saying them. Like with his face attached to like every answer that he says. He has to. Like that's why he have so many kind of like the liberal mother thing and stuff like that. There, he has to kind of stick to a kind of song sheet of answers, if that makes sense, so he doesn't get in trouble or whatever. But when he was special, like whenever he was Phil, he could kind of say things and it wasn't really attached to him, if that makes sense. It was attached to the ghoul. So, it could be a bit more unhinged, I think, in those type of interviews, even though he's still really unhinged now, but you know what I mean? Like,
I was just thinking of that one where people brought up a picture of like, I think it was some porno and then a cat, and then he was like, yeah, this is good, but I also do like cats.
Yeah.
But he's
I
like,
love
like
that
pussy.
interview so much. I love that interview so much.
Oh. Now he's like, that gets me hard, and that's a hard rocking band. Oh, okay. Cammy, your next question?
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head if this has technically been asked before, but it was something that was still on my list. Was that like, did he always know that he was going to like have a new costume and have like a new like person and persona for every single album as Ghost? Or was that something that he kind of decided once he saw the band was like growing in success and he got a budget and he knows he couldn't like expand it? Kind of like I wonder if it was kind of like what happened with like Mary Gore, like because like very early Repugnant Mary Gore is very different looking than what you most commonly see as Mary Gore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think to kind of answer semi on his behalf, obviously I don't fully know his fucking brain, but I have a vague memory of him sort of touching on that where he said he knew either very early on or from the start that he wanted to kind of create nostalgia through eras. So I think I don't know which interview he said that was in, but I just have that vague memory of him saying something like that. So I feel like it
Because he
was
mentioned
probably
Kiss.
yeah, that was what I was thinking of as well. Yeah, like he wanted eras so that and to create nostalgia so people could look back on and be like, oh yeah, that was this time and that. So I think it was probably pre-planned if I remember. But I'd love to hear what he has to say on that.
I also want to know more about the costumes, like, you know, kind of what goes into them, because the very first ghost costume, Primo's costume, was very, you know, it's just satin fabric with sequins on it, and it's adorable. I love it. And
I
then we
love it so
have
much.
this like fucking the most majestic robes you've ever fucking seen on like Copia. It's just like what's the process with his like with the designing and everything?
And budget, because clearly there's a budget difference.
What is the budget? I want to know.
Yeah, because he works with B. I can never say their surname, but it's obviously
Auckland or
Jonas's.
something?
Yeah, like Uckersland or something, and
Yeah.
who's Jonas's wife, and she's done shit for like Beyonce and Madonna and stuff, and Lady Gaga, which
Yeah.
is, I mean, iconic in itself. But yeah, I'd love to know how they sit down and design shit.
Can I shake her hand for the slutty tight jeans that Copia gets to wear?
Yes, thank you for that, please.
Just thank you for that. Like, out of everything you've ever done, like that there is the biggest big brain choice you ever made. Put that man in tight jeans.
Yeah.
I just want to say a big fucking thank you for whoever came up with Copia's costumes and how like just like their design and like, you know, how they're tight. Like, please, thank you.
Whoever made the white suit, hand in marriage, please.
Whoever made the white suit, where the fuck is it?
Yeah, please bring it back.
It's my favorite fucking suit because it's just like it's so different from anything he's ever worn. Like you know, like even with Copia, he had like those little like you know spurts of red with like the red cassock and the red suit. But it's just like I don't know, that felt on brand like with everything else like that he was wearing during like the Prequel album cycle. But the white suit was so out there, like it was a fucking pimp suit, and I was just like the fucking alligator skin. I'm like,
the hat.
why was this suit made, and where the fuck is it?
And also, like, white is supposed to represent innocence, right? So why would he make the most non-innocent outfit white?
The sluttiest costume is white.
Yeah, it's totally innocent. Totally.
And he sings one of the dirtiest fucking songs he's ever written, like that Tobias has ever written. He sings the dirtiest fucking song he's ever written while in a white suit.
Maybe that's intentional. Maybe he was like thinking, okay, we're gonna make this angelic thing, but then completely do a contrast of themes and like twist it.
I mean, he knew. Like you can see on the stage when he's like, that moment where everyone like looking at, you know, the part obviously, and he goes to the mic and be like, "Shame on you!" That guy knew. He knew. He knew what was going on. He was like, "I'm gonna go with it."
I was gonna say it's just very funny because like at that time period as well, like that's whenever everybody knew it was him. So that's why he decided to make the silliest outfits possible. Like we know exactly who you are, sir. It's like we know exactly who you are, sir.
We know exactly who you are.
Everything.
It's like, well, my face is on display. I'm showing off my face. May as well show everything else.
Yeah. Prequel album is when everybody got to know him the best.
Know him we did. I'm going to throw these two in because they're very just, they're literally the way I've wrote them is very short and they're kind of on the same subject. And I'll get this one just out of the way first, just because it's a bit niche. I just wrote down St. Anger, discuss. Just because I know a lot of Metallica fans with the snare drum are just like boom, bang, like and anger it. So I just want to know his opinions on that. And then second of all, and this is where we can all probably discuss further, is, again, I've just wrote down, Pooney Toon, discuss. What was going through your mind?
Hormones. Next question.
I think the lyrics of the song make it pretty clear what was going through his mind.
Speaking of like what we were just saying about everything being all out on display, bro really straight up just described things that we didn't need describing to us in that first verse. Woof.
I think though that's one of his kind of like his strengths. So as like a writer and stuff, is that he is very honest. You know, like he doesn't have like a filter on like what he wants to write about. So I think that really helps him as a writer. You know, and like that's what makes Ghost so different and things like that, because he just writes what he wants to write. He doesn't really write to kind of fit a idea of what he needs to be writing. You know, so like. As funny as Pooney Toon is, like it is like, you know, it is kind of, you know, it feels very kind of like emblematic of the way he writes. He just writes.
He just writes. You know? He lets things pop in his head, and the filter is just non-existent.
Yeah, and I really like that. You know, that's one of the things I like about his writing. So.
No. So I was gonna say, like, you know, just with his writing, I just find it so fascinating how like. How he, like he said, like he kind of just writes whatever he wants. But I noticed that at least with Ghost, he makes it more like poetic in a sense, even though it's like if you translate it, it's not like going back to like Gigolo. Like I am the one lascivious with magic potion Niveus. That straight up means I'm horny and full of cum. Like what the? How do you write that? How do you write that?
Oh, he's a wordy cunt, isn't he?
Yeah, that's one of the things I like about his writing as well. It's like the fact that he uses, like he will like he's not scared to use these big words. You know, like kaleidoscopy and vision. Like I love that. Like that's just such a mouthful. You know, like
I only speak English, and bro got me pulling out the dictionary several times during Kaiserian.
Yeah, he did that, but he said conjuration.
Oh yeah.
I know.
I want to know, like, as a non-English speaker, where he first heard the word poontang.
Yes, how, where, when, like,
what context did you hear this?
Well, it's a play on Looney Tunes as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, what's his favorite Looney Tune character? I need to know.
Yeah,
why is it Daffy?
Why is it Bugs? Yeah, well, Bugs Bunny because Bugs Bunny likes drag. You know what I mean? And I feel like, you know, so.
Oh, okay. Nid, are you there?
Yep, still there.
Okay, what is your next question, Nid?
Well, I'm out of very intellectual and interesting question. So now I'm just gonna become unhinged and random stupid thing. Give me 2 seconds to come up with something like.
Okay, shall I move on to Shanti? What do you think?
Yes, good idea.
Okay. All right, Shanti.
He once talked about playing The Last of Us with his wife, right? I want to know what other games he has played with, like either himself, his kids, or his wife.
I was thinking about this the other day actually because I know he's played FIFA. And that is a big red flag for me. I think I nearly understand. But also, I was looking through pictures of Secondo the other day, and there's that picture where there's both the kids backstage with him, and Maurice is wearing a Mario t-shirt, and I just want to know if he's played Mario.
Probably.
I know he's played SimCity.
Has he?
Yeah, he talked about SimCity because I remember an interview. He talked about SimCity, and he said about making the cities live and stuff, trying to keep the cities alive. I remember because that's why I always think it's really funny that like you guys are so in Sims. You know, it's like he likes SimCity. So
I need to know if he's actually played The Sims as well. Like, was he on The Sims 2 just like
one of them 9/11 videos is his?
Oh, for those who, for context for people listening, we were discussing the other day because we're all like, a lot of us are into The Sims and stuff, and we were having some nostalgia about the Sims 2 exchange website where people would make Sims exchange stories, and I was saying how back in the day there used to be a shit ton of 9/11 ones where people would make 9/11 tributes on The Sims 2. So yeah, that's what that's about. But yeah, I want to know. I want to see. I bet he makes the worst builds where it's just a box and about 50 windows.
Or he's the complete opposite of that, where he gets so into a house. Like he has, he has like one family that's been alive for like 10 years. The kids have gone to college and everything, you know, like.
Oh no! I bet he's cried when one of his Sims has died.
He's trying to get off with the Grim Reaper.
Or he's done something unhinged and just killed a bunch of them. Remove that pool ladder.
Do you guys remember when there used to be like exploits where you like lock your Sims in like an attic and like make them just like paint all day and then like don't let them leave and like they just make them paint until they die? Like crazy exploits.
What do you mean? I do that on a weekly basis. Yeah, so I'd love to know what games he's played as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. That would be amazing.
If he's played the Left 4 Dead, I will cry because that's one of my favorite video games.
He's probably played Left 4 Dead.
Resident Evil. I bet he's played those.
Oh, most likely.
And why is 4 his number 5?
Imagine
Silent Hill.
Ooh, I would cry. I need to know which games he has played. So I could be like, played that too.
How many people has he shot on Grand Theft Auto?
I think everybody has went through went on a rampage on Grand Theft Auto, though. I think that's like the joy of Grand Theft Auto is that you could do that, you know?
Oh yeah, I've never played the story in my life, I don't think.
No. I remember I did an online session once on, just going off topic for 5 seconds, but did an online session where you could make your own servers. Like there was a time where you could kind of glitch it to kind of make your own server. Me and somebody I was playing with, we dressed both of us had like female characters. We dressed them in swimsuits and high heels and masks, and then went down to the Muscle Beach and picked up all the people exercising. I don't know what that says about me, but moving on.
Alright, Ned, have you thought of anything yet?
Yes.
Okay, take it away.
I know that he talked about when he's doing cover songs that he kind of like fixes or like cleanse the songs, and I was wondering if when he listened back to the music that he wrote before, either it was like for Ghost or previously, and he's like either proud or he's like, I can fix that. And in the same idea, does he have a song that he's like, that's the one, like I'm so proud of that one, like this perfect, like yes.
Funny enough, I had this question wrote down as well, pretty much.
Yeah.
No, it's good because we share a brain cell here. I wanted to kind of know like whether there's 2 things I kind of wanted to know on that topic, whether he if he can then go back and like, because if he covers one of his favorite songs, you know, like when you work on something and you never want to hear it ever again after that because you've just been working on it so long. So say, for example, like with Enter Sandman, can he go back and listen to Enter Sandman without thinking of like, oh, I had to listen to this so many times to get the cover right? But also, I want to know which ones, like how he picks, because if you listen to It's a Sin, it's pretty much dead on the style of the original. Whereas something like Here Comes the Sun is he's ghostified it as such. So I want to know like how he chooses how to keep it sort of the same or completely revamp it from scratch.
Missionary Man's like that too, because I remember when I first started listening to Ghost, I heard Missionary Man and I went, this sounds like a rhythmic song. You know, like I immediately knew. Yeah, but because that was before I knew it was a covers, but I was like, you know, this sounds like a rhythmic song, and then when I looked it up, I was like, oh, it is a rhythmic song. So like, he didn't change much of Missionary Man either, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And Bible's kind of close as well. It's not too far off.
Phantom of the Opera is just, it just sounds like it's been recorded by people who aren't, high and drunk and have an actual studio, that cost more than £2 to put together. Like, that's the difference between Phantom of the Opera, but yeah, that's yeah.
Discuss, bestie, discuss.
Yeah, discuss. Break it down for us.
Yeah, but yeah, Katie?
This is kind of not out there, but like, does he like Star Trek? Because a lot of people who like Star Wars don't like Star Trek. So like, what's the opinion?
Yeah, my everyone I know who's massive Star Wars fans don't touch Star Trek with a barge pole. I don't know why. I've never watched it. That's my answer to that.
My boyfriend's into Star Wars and Star Trek, so he's an anomaly.
Double nerd.
Double nerd. Double prize.
There's kind of a picture from the Subvision era where he kind of looks a little bit like Spock, though, not gonna lie. And I mean that in a nice way.
See, like, like, I'm one of those people who also likes both, but I only like the original series of Star Trek. And, like, Spock is one of my favorite characters.
Well, there we go.
Explains so much.
I think he's mentioned them before, but I really want to know if he's watched. I know he's watched them, obviously, probably, but like, I want to know if he's into Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah.
That's the same thing. I was like, because there's two kind of like nerds. There's the Lord of the Ring one.
Exactly. Lord of the Rings is superior, in my opinion.
Yes, I agree.
Okay. I feel bad. Have I actually been saying your name correctly the whole fucking time?
Yes, you have.
Oh, thank fuck for that. Okay. What's your question?
I want to know, kind of, where did the thought come from for the chapters? Like, and then also kind of the thought process of making the chapters, like, breaking down the kind of like thought process behind, the kind of plot of the chapters, like how they film the chapters. How did he get in touch with the place that they film in? Because like I know that's a pretty famous kind of mortuary place in LA. So like because I always joke when I'm watching the chapters, I always joke saying like the ghosts in there go, oh, those Swedish ones are back. So like. But yeah, I always wanted to know like what kind of spurred the idea for the chapters, because like I know he's not very into like banned social media posts, where they show behind the scenes stuff and things. Like he thinks that's just absolute dog shit. So did somebody at the label say you need to actually start putting out extra content like this though, because that's just how it is? And he's like, fine, I'm gonna make it complicated though because I can't do anything normal.
I bet he sits and like draws out storyboards and everything.
Yeah.
It's funny the way when you said that about the Swedes are back, like when he's booking out the venue, because every time, like I remember the first time I went to go visit it, I was worried that like, because I didn't call ahead or anything because I was too scared. I was just like, I'll rock up and see what happens. But I was like, imagine if I rock up and it's like fucking closed and it's like, oh sorry, we're closed for filming, and it's just because the fucking Swedes are in.
Can you imagine? You just happen to be there.
You walk in and Copia's just on his tricycle.
He just crashes into you.
And that's how I became an extra in the ghost chapter that day.
And then that's how Tobias Forge paid for my hospital bills as well, because he took me out by the ankles.
Oh no. Also, like, can we become extras in the chapters, please? Like, I'll do it. I will fly out.
I love seeing his kids in the chapters. Like, I would love the discussion like he had with his kids. Do you want to be in the chapters? Yes, cool. You get to be the Shining Twins.
Imagine if they like came back and like was like grown up and were involved now.
Yeah, you can even make a joke about it. Going, wow, you guys got big, didn't you?
Yeah. Okay, Cami.
I'm trying to think of like what other questions that I had. I guess I kind of wanted to know, like, I guess his take on like with fans, like, how does he feel like with people who have fan accounts, like accounts created and devoted to being a fan of his work and making content centered around his music and like the story he's telling. Like, I just want to know like what his opinion and his relationship with the fans is. Like, I know it's very general, but it's like, I don't know. I kind of want more details about it.
He's scared of all of us.
Probably.
Specifically me. I'm joking.
It's like you guys have a lot of free time.
I just want to know, does he know?
I would be scared of it.
Does he know that we exist?
I've been perceived.
I just want to know if he knows we exist, so I know when to deactivate my account.
Exactly.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Has my time come to an end? Well, funny enough, I think I said that on the server that I was looking at the analytics, and you can kind of see who listens to this podcast, and there is a 35 to 43, I think is the age bracket, Swedish man listening to this podcast, and I'm fucking terrified.
It's just some random man that likes ghosts in Sweden, and he's like, "Oh, I've been perceived."
I fucking hope it is.
Oh my god!
Delete. Okay, this is the season finale, guys. Bye. We're never doing this ever again.
So, hello, random Swedish person.
I wish I had the delusion though that some TikTokers have though. You know, like you've seen some TikTok accounts where they're like, you know, they think they're gonna like their TikTok videos are gonna show up in a chapter, and I'm like, and you're like, no, bestie, it's not. But I wish I could be that delusional.
Oh my god.
You know, it must be very nice.
Imagine like I want to know, like, speaking of like TikTok, is like, you know, how whoever that person was who made the slowed down version of Mariana Cross like audio and like where are they and how do they feel?
Are they still a fan, or are they like, I got perceived, I don't want this anymore?
Yeah, I had a bit of a freak out. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not saying that this was my doing. Because I'm going to be Delulu for a second. It's probably just a major coincidence, but when I was at Download Festival last year before Mariana Cross kicked off, my friend was playing just Ghost randomly, and my friends that whole weekend were taking the piss out of every Ghost song, being like, "It sounds like this song. It sounds like this song," and that was when they were like, "Oh, Mariana Cross sounds like Buddy Holly," and I was like, "For fuck's sake!" And I tweeted about it. And then a few weeks later, I noticed TikTok's coming up with the same thing. And then obviously Mariana Cross got big. So, did I do this? I'm joking. It definitely wasn't me.
Am I responsible for Tobias Gorge's success? Discuss.
No royalty.
Am I owed money?
I'm owed compensation. No, but I thought it was really fucking weird that I made that tweet about like my friend saying it was Buddy Holly, and then suddenly there was a load of TikToks like coming up with like the comparisons with Buddy Holly, and then obviously Mariana Cross got big, and I was like, I did this.
It was me. You're welcome.
It was all me. It 100% wasn't me. It was very much a coincidence. I think. I hope. So basically, all the fans that we hate, that's my fault. I'm joking.
All the Reddit people who are like, no, you treat ghosts like K-pop idols. It's like, don't tempt me to start making K-pop cards.
Oh my god.
Like, don't tempt me. I will start making K-pop cards and selling them. Like, you don't...
It's too late. I already have.
You know? I was like, I think Tobias is fine with being treated like a K-pop idol. Like, he's fine with it.
Yeah, I'm sure he can handle it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna make this question my last question and the last question because I have to go. I wanted to know. Actually, I'm gonna quickly. Which one do I pick? Ah, man, which one do I pick? Because I want to know. No, I'll save this one for another time. But I want to know if he's ever again. Wouldn't expect him to ever drop names because that would just cause drama. But I want to know if, since becoming successful and obviously knowing people within the industry, whether he's ever met like someone who's a hero of his and had a bad experience and he can't listen to that band anymore.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if he like met someone from like, let's say, Slayer or something, and they were rude to him, and now he just can't fucking listen to Slayer.
Honestly,
but then
I have that with Marilyn Manson. I can't listen to the "This Is Halloween" song. I can't listen to it. I used to be such a big fan of that one song, and ever since the Marilyn Manson shit happened, I was like, I can't listen to this song anymore. I can't.
Yeah.
That's
like that stuff with Rammstein as well. Like, I just can't listen to them. You know, like.
But not even like with just a general fan, like where you hear about the allegations and stuff. I mean, like as if he went up and like met someone and was like, "Hey, I'm a big fan," and they were like, "Who the fuck are you, dickhead?" And now he just went home crying. Or like
I
like
feel
with the
As a-
what's his name, Paul Diano stuff. Like, did that hurt
yeah.
him?
I was just about to say, like, how did he feel about that? Especially because like there was that one interview clip where he talked about Phantom of the Opera, and he said he really likes like Paul Diano.
Yeah,
And
he's like, I
he's just
fucking
like,
love
oh,
his
I'm a fan
voice.
of his vocals and everything. And then like not long after that, Paul Diano fucking shat on him on Facebook, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I wonder if that, as a musician, like as someone who knows people in the industry, or like if you know industry secrets that aren't to the public, where you know people are shitty people, like if that's
Yeah.
tinted his views on certain bands.
Yeah, because I think wasn't it Phil Anselmo or someone who said that like he didn't like Ghost. You know, like
No,
he
Phil
tried to listen to
Anselmo
it.
was Phil Anselmo's said some white supremacy shit.
Oh no, I know that. Like I know that stuff, but I'm saying like somebody in Slayer said something about Ghost.
Oh, maybe,
You know,
I don't know.
I think somebody was saying like they put Ghost on and they tried to listen to the album and they just couldn't get through it. And I remember an interviewer asking him about that, and he said, "Well, that was his opinion. He didn't say anything rude, you know, but it was just his opinion on Ghost, like you know." But I feel like
think
Tobias is
he's
too professional, if that makes sense. Like
yeah,
like he has his opinions and then he has his opinions. You
yeah,
know,
like he can be subjective about like this music isn't great, but I still like I know he said, I don't remember if I've said this on another episode, but like obviously we know he would take a bullet for James Hetfield probably,
Oh
and
yeah.
he loves Metallica, but I'm pretty sure he said like anything after like Load and Reload, he's just kind of like, yeah. Which is why I want to know about St.
Yeah.
Anger as well. Yeah, like I think even because he's probably got it with his own music where he's like, yeah, this is good, that's not, and probably even like with his friends' band, he's probably even with like bands like Candlemass, who he's like pallies with, he's probably like, yeah, this is good, but this isn't for me, but I support you, bitch.
Yeah, but like even like you know by people being rude and stuff to him, like I can imagine like even if people have been rude to him, I can imagine like even in interviews and stuff, he'd still say that they were really talented and stuff, you know. But in private, he'd be like, "That guy's such an asshole."
Yeah,
Guy's
he's
such
too
an
polite.
asshole, you know. But he's very professional, if that makes sense, you know.
Yeah,
because like the Paul Diano stuff, Paul Diano's always been a dick, you know what I mean?
No.
So like, but he had to be like, because I think the reason he wanted to fix Phantom of the Opera was because you can't understand a fucking word that man is saying
There's a reason he got
in
kicked
that
out of
song.
Maiden.
Yeah, exactly. So, but he didn't want to say that, you know, because it sounds rude. So he's like, I like his vocals, but I needed to fix it. You know,
It was
like,
just really,
no, I
it's just
liked
really
him,
hard to
but
hear the lyrics. I just want to hear the lyrics.
yeah. So like, I think like he has his opinions, but I think he's just a bit too professional. Like even if you ask him that question, I feel like he wouldn't answer it. Like if you remember when he's rude to you, you'd be like, yeah, but I don't think he'd ever say.
Yeah,
You
that's
know?
why I wrote without name dropping.
Yeah.
Like imagine if he met like Gene Simmons, because like obviously Gene Simmons is known for
Yeah.
being a bit of an ass. Imagine if he like went up to Gene Simmons really excited, like hello, 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 and then like Gene Simmons was rude to him. He'd probably lay awake at night crying for several days. Like, oh, there's one picture as well, kind of still on topic, and I'm guessing it went well because he looks happy. Where there's a picture of him talking to Nikki Sixx and the rest of 6 a.m. and I really want to know what they were talking about. But that picture's one of my favorite pictures ever. Just as like I'm a lifelong slut for Nikki Sixx, and obviously a slut for Bestie. So I just want to know what they were talking about.
I have a feeling that if he meets idols, he just talks at them. You know, like talking about things that he's loved that they've done, and they're just standing there going, "Huh? Did I do that? Sure." Like, yes, you did do that. I remember you doing that. You know, drugs.
He's probably the same as like us, like how we are with him, where it's like, oh yeah, you did this and this, and then this guy's like, I really don't even fucking remember. How the fuck do you know that?
Yeah. Like you mentioned about Cobra Monster, but he'd be like, who? Oh, him.
I have, like, a follow-up question. Like, I just want to know how big his music collection is, like with his vinyls and his vintage T-shirts. I just want to know, like, how big his collection is and how much he's invested in it.
Yeah.
Thousands.
Thousands. Me buying those shirts has funded at least half of that.
I know he's inherited it. He said he's inherited vinyls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could just raid his house and be like, I own this.
I remember him saying he inherited like two people's vinyl collections. He has, and a bowl was like, please stop leaving vinyls in your wills to this man. We have no space. Like everybody's just like, I leave my vinyls to Tobias, and he's like, "Stop doing this. We've no space."
Oh, that's a good
But yeah,
question.
If his house was on fire, which one would he
Yes.
save?
He also keeps talking about which band is it? He keeps talking about. Oh, I can't remember. He keeps talking about not having a full collection of somebody.
Is it
Recently,
Venom,
'cause
I
he keep-
think?
Venom. Yeah, he keeps talking about not having a full collection of Venom. He's like, were you really close to getting a Venom album you wanted, and somebody outbid you?
I want to see him having his rage on eBay.
Like, somebody outbid me for the Venom tape. No, you know, like, because he keeps mentioning Venom. I feel like something's happened recently with his Venom collection.
Yeah, it's like either Venom or Demon or something like that, I think.
Yeah.
Wait, imagine if we one day find the one he's looking for and we all surprise him with it.
That'd be
We'll
amazing.
gather in.
It's like that group, it's the sisters, and the music was not great. But like Kurt Cobain and all loved them. Yeah.
Oh, the Shags.
Yes, like I remember him saying that he would love an original version of that album. You know,
Let's get it.
Can you imagine? Like, yeah, we'll should look for that because there's
crowdfund
only
it.
there's only like 10 in existence. This shouldn't be that expensive, right?
It's only going to cost several thousand.
Yeah, and
We'll all pitch in. It's fine.
To be fair,
Yeah.
if I ask all my followers to put £1 each, we could do it.
do it for his 45th birthday.
Aw.
Everyone ask all their accounts with big followings. Just donate $1 for the Tobias.
Yeah, I'll
Forge.
ask on TikTok. Donate $1 to the Tobias Forge 45th birthday present thing. And then I disappear off the internet. 60,000 Brian Richer.
Suddenly we've got like a Netflix series about us about swindling ghost fans.
And then you could say, she ghosted them. And then it's like the CSI Miami and
Ghoster. Oh my god, that's a spin-off in
so
itself
dumb.
right there.
Oh, we can make a new commercial for just $1. You can help fulfill this Swede.
Save a
playing
Swede.
in the arms of the angel.
You can help fulfill the Swede's dreams.
Oh no. Make a Swede's dream come true. It's like Make-A-Wish, but like the for fucking like just
one individual
Swedish
man.
collectors. Except he's not dying, thank God.
Oh, thank God.
Okay, I'm gonna wrap up now. Nid sadly has to drop out because
Yes.
Wi-Fi. Right. I was gonna go in running order, and Nid was first anyway. So Shanti, where can we find you on the internets?
You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter under Cardiolectio.
Okay. Katie.
You can find me on Twitter at C2May.
Slay. Alana.
You can find me on any website, because I've literally taken every website, under the name Hardcore Fairy, but it's spelled HXC Fairy. One word.
Hardcore.
Hardcore! I made that name in 2004 and I'm too lazy to make a new one.
Cami.
That's not a joke.
You can find me on, I'm pretty sure all the apps like Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all blah blah. At your fave guesty.
And I'm Alva. You know where I am. I spam every single website ever, and people are annoyed that I exist. Okay, I'm gonna go see the Barbie movie now. So yeah, till next week. We'll catch you later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.